The idea of the hybrid profile, which is not very common, no? Like also, like I mean, you have a personal story that probably is very atypical. I would say in a kind of an industrialized society, you had to do one thing and learn and master it, and you had been kind of shifting between disciplines and working with I don't know, with different points of view, not only from the design point of view, but ecological systems, engineering, I guess.
Yes, but for the sake of the conversation, I would say that I find that to work in an interdisciplinary group, you need to have a discipline.
Okay.
So you need to be somebody with some tools, with some ideas. You need to have a core. So one of my discussion when people is talking about transdisciplinary course or this kind of things, it's for me all the projects are transdisciplinary, but the different groups that participate to the coalition or to the team, there has to be multi or transdisciplinary, but each one has to bring its own specific contribution. So it's important to be capable to listen to many people, to have a dialogue with many people, to be open to have a feed from many. But you should have, when I do like this, it means something vertical.
It sounds like a music orchestra. Yeah, it's a silly example, but it sounds like an orchestra director. And that role of the strategist and the one that needs to say,
I would say an orchestra
change, you know? Like
no, this is too much, because in the orchestra you need, the traditional orchestra, you need a director. I do not pretend that everybody has to be director, but imagine somebody that play together, maybe without a director, but each one, you have a quartet, each one has its own specificity, and all together they play the music. And I think that it's very important to create people that have a core. Afterward, the way in which you build your core could be diverse. So the core do not necessarily are the formal disciplines, but you need to use your life in building a core. Afterward, also your core competencies and capability and sensitivities could change in time. So it's not said that it has to be the same for all your life long. But you have to enter in the arena where there are many other people, and you have to be capable to listen and to talk with the many. But to talk with the many, you have to have something to say.
What do you think about the activism? Like, like where is activism now, and what a designer should do in relation to that? I don't think that today we are in a position in which probably we were some decades ago, in which you can just lock yourself and do something just for yourself. I think that now the interconnected
that one of yourself is a whole story, but luckily to be designer, but this is valuable also if you are a planner or an architect, whoever intervene in the reality, so maybe also a sociologist. There are many different ways of being and doing it, and it can depend mainly from the context in which you work, but also from your character and what you like to do. So probably you choose you are attracted by a certain context and not by others. So I make an example. When you start something that is innovative, it means that it did not exist before. So you need somebody that have a lot of energy, a lot of daring capability. So in some way, it's an activist, and make for the first time ever, at least in that area, happen something that not existed before. So this is by every point of view an activism, because given that what is doing has not been done before, it means that you are not paid to do it. So you are not doing it professionally. You are an activist because you have a vision and you try to make this vision real. And there are cases in which nothing happens if you don't have activists. This kind of people. But if imagine that an activist or a group of activists or a community, a creative community is capable to start something. Let's take the most simple example so everybody understood. A community garden, 40 years ago. The first one that did a community garden was called the guerrilla gardeners. They had to be against the law. They had to squat places. They had to do so many things that was practically their own life for all the period, and they succeeded in doing it. But afterwards, if nothing else happened, how the trajectory of this innovation evolved. So, or it died because the people become tired, or it involved in something, a group of people, we have so many that clothe themselves and protect themselves are the only one, the pure against all the others, or is capable in some way, and I use the term in a very positive way, to normalize it. So the kind of skill that you have to have when you start, that you have to be activist, and the kind of skill that you have to normalize it, probably is not the same person.
Okay.
And this is, for what I know, is true also for the technological innovation, that very often the inventor is not good.
It's not the one that sells the thing,
Yes.
right? The Apple story is one
So
of the
very often the first one have to be changed, except for some very special cases, for the one that are capable, in my wording now, to normalize. This is valuable also for the social innovation. So somebody has the energy to make it happen. It's not said that they are the one that are capable to normalize. What means normalize? Let's go back to the very simple example of the community garden. The community garden, to exist in a more normal way, and I will say what is normal, has to find a positive interaction with institutions, because you cannot be squatters for all your life. So it means to have the capability to negotiate. The first community garden in New York was squatted, and there was clash with the police and every kind of. After a while, both the parties have been clever enough to understand that something should be done, and the people that was on the side of the community understood that it was good to have an interaction with the institutions, and the institution understood what was clear, that those people was doing something very good for the environment and also for the neighborhoods, and in some way also for the business. And so they find a compromise, and now if you go to New York, there are more than 400 community gardens. Some of them resist since 30 years, and they are in the frame of something that is called the Green Thumb. That is an institution that depends on the city of New York garden sector. There are a set of rules, there is a little bit of help, and they work, because if you go and look around, you understand that they are still linked to the community, because they are so diverse.